He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale.
Hello there, Blades fans, and welcome to the Sheff United Way. My name's Nick. You all know that. We are going to be doing today a QPR preview. We're going to be talking about the Cov game, talking about who we expect to line up in this game. Let's talk about different players. Obviously, we're going to talk about the QPR team as well, and then you're going to get some lovely score predictions from myself, my esteemed guest, and of course the Sheff United Way fans in the Patreon group. So let's firstly get into this. Let's talk about the QPR game. We are back to 3 p.m. kickoffs finally. I think that this might be a common theme for the rest of the season now that we look like we're not going to be flirting with the playoffs as much as what we probably expected. And it probably will be championship football next season. I know that we kind of flip-flap and say 1 week we'll win a game and be like, the playoffs are on. And then the next week we'll be like, yeah, it's not happening, is it? But I think we all know that we're going to stay up. But the the playoffs seem quite far away, especially with Wrexham doing so well at the moment. But yeah, one thing about not having football on TV is that we're not showing off Femi Sariki, we're not showing off Sidney Peck, we're not showing off Femi Brooks. I'm going to say that's not his name, Andre Brooks, and hopefully we'll hide him from the onlookers. Anyway, I'm going to bring in my guest for the evening. Sam, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really good, mate. I'm looking forward to getting into QPR and a bit of Coventry and all that, and just seeing what we can come up with.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to give a big shout out first and foremost to our sponsors, as we always do, because they always help and keep the lights on. So IPM Group, as you can see in the top corner, they've supported us. They've started supporting us this season. Also Panenka as well. Our pre-match bar, whether we're home or away, it's always great for the the old let's get behind the blades. And IPM is a huge thing for us this season. Hopefully they are going to be moving forward. I'm going to get into talking about Shazbat and Parrot Peel a little bit later on, but let's talk about the Coventry defeat, Sam. I put it on social media. I did a bit of a hospitality day with my company because we get 2 hospitality days a season. And luckily I get to go, which is nice. But what I do feel like, that's not a brag, by the way. This is a segue into talking about what I'm going to talk about. When I do these sorts of events, like I don't feel like I watch the game as well as I usually do, because you're chatting to people that you've never seen before. You're in a different location in the ground. I don't particularly like being really low, and we were right behind the tunnel and the dressing rooms, the tunnel and the where the players sort of sit. What's wrong with me? What's that word?
The dugout.
Dugout. Oh my God, dugout. Yes, as you can probably tell, I'm in a bit of a rush today. That's why words aren't coming to my brain. So I remember sitting in the FA Cups when you could sit wherever you want. I'm sitting quite low, and I just don't feel like you can understand the game as well as when you're sitting a little bit higher where I usually do. So I did a match reaction on this one, and I just didn't really know what to say because, in my opinion, Sam, and you take it away after I've just finished, I thought we played well enough and we'd have probably beaten 70% of teams at Bramall Lane this season. I just don't think we were clinical enough. I don't think we created as many chances as what we usually do, and we were just a bit poor defensively. Lots and lots of errors. What do you think?
Yeah. I think I can look at this season and I think I can happily say, since the turn with Wilder, that I think we have been one of the best teams in the league. But obviously the results aren't coming through all the time. There's been different factors red cards and injuries and stuff like that. And that's been an issue, and that's an issue that we have to control. And it's not something we can just say, oh, we would be better if it weren't for these things. But that's to do with our performances as well. And as you said, we weren't clinical against Coventry. I thought we were the better side for the full 90. Defensively, definitely had an issue. That was it Radoni who scored? Whoever scored the goal. Yeah, it was that was really, really poor defending. And I feel like our defense hasn't been at its best recently. I'm not really sure why. But no, I think we can. I came away from that game thinking that was a very good game. It was a great game to watch. And I thought it was a decent result. We should have won. I think we should have won because we weren't clinical. And if you look at the stats, I mean, it's crazy because our XG is 1.67 and theirs is 0.63. We had 22 shots, only 4 on target, but we still were shooting. And we usually don't. I feel like we don't shoot enough sometimes. We get into shots, but we don't finish. But clearly, we were really going at them. We had 424 accurate passes, and they had 196. They had less than 200, and we had 450. It's crazy.
I know. I feel like I've heard this from Coventry fans this season, though. I feel like they aren't like a Borough. They're not going to pass you to death. They're not going to be, they're going to put pressure on you at certain points of the game. Maybe that's tactical, and they sit in, they absorb the pressure, and then when you at least expect it, they go at you. And that's what they did after we scored the goal. They were like, oh, God, yeah, we're 1-0 down now. We need to really step it up. And actually, they've been really poor away from home. And I think they've only won. I think the only win that they managed was before the West Brom game was Middlesbrough in the return fixture to the one a couple of weeks ago, and that was late November. So they'd not won a game of football away from home from late November all the way up to a couple of weeks ago when they beat West Brom. And of course, you're going to get a lot of confidence from beating, first or second. I think Borough were actually top when Coventry played them. And then you go and win. You get that monkey off your back and you beat West Brom away from home, and you're like, right, we can win games of football away from home. And then they go into that game after we've just had a little bit of a lukewarm performance against Wednesday, especially in that second half.
Yeah.
Maybe put all that together. We were a little bit susceptible. And you know what? They had that confidence and that momentum to take them through because, as I said in the match react, I think that last season there were loads of games where we weren't quite at it, but we got the job done. And I think that was them in this game because they weren't particularly great. They were nowhere near as good as what Borough were when they came to Bramall Lane. But Borough had to be that good to beat us because I think we were really good in that Borough game too. So I think if we'd have played as well as we did in that Borough game, would have potentially beaten Coventry. But you know what? It's one of those seasons where we've had a really poor start, a poorish middle, and then we just kicked on. And you can't have anything other than perfection right now. And we've had 2 of our big signings that have come in January, both getting 3-match bans. That's not going to help. Jairo Riedewald, like these players need to stay fit and need to play every game for us to be at that level. And it's good to see Jairo back. It really is. And I thought he was really good when he came on, actually. And I expect him to start. Like, that's a bit of a spoiler for later on, but I expect him to start. But I don't know what you think about that, but I just think that, we need to be perfect. And, individuals are letting us down.
I mean, I don't think we're never going to achieve perfection, especially under Chris Wilder. Let's be totally honest. As much as I love him, I think you're never going to get perfect with him. I think, probably the closest you're going to get is some of the promotion seasons with him, or maybe even the, as perfect as it can be in the Premier League, finishing 9th. That's pretty great. But and it's also football. You're never going to get perfect in football unless you have like that sweet spot of your squad and the management and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, I'm just going to walk away from this season being happy. I don't we're not going to make playoffs. And if we do, then wow, we made playoffs. That's an achievement. To be where we are, to play the way we play, to be able to beat teams the way that we can, and to play against teams that we still lose to, like Borough and Coventry. At the time that we played, both of them were league leaders, and I thought we could have won either game until certain things happened, like Rothwell. I thought we could have still gotten a point out of that if Rothwell hadn't been sent off. And I thought that we were really good against Coventry. But point is that I just think we've got to walk away from this and be like, we're still a great team, considering everything we've been through. And I think we've performed well enough to be able to say, unfortunately, it's not come off. We've not, reached the heights that we wanted to when we started turning around our form. But I think it's been a great season to watch. I think it's been really entertaining, and it's an entertainment business. So I'm all right with it. It's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, I quite often say, like, if you went to see a film at a cinema and it was so bad that you were like, I can't watch this anymore, you'd walk out. But you wouldn't walk out of a football match, however bad it is, because that's your team. You are, tribal towards that team. And like, I was walking out the other day and like, I need to start watching other football because not watching Sheffield United. I mean, watching other football because I go to football matches and my weekend relies on Sheffield United. And I haven't been to a football match that isn't Sheffield United for years. And like, I would like to go to a game where nothing's riding on it. My emotions are not riding on it. But even having the VIP treatment the other night, I was still like sat there like this after the game. People trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I've just got nothing for you. I've really not. And it's one of them things. We'll move on because you know what, we could probably talk about this all day long because
Of course.
we were. It's a frustrating season. It was always going to be tough after losing so many games. I think if Chris Wilder would have hit the ground running with Chris Wilder instantly, I think would have probably been 6th to 8th right now. But that was way more difficult than what we probably first thought because I thought Wilder coming in, he's got the same players as he did. Well, not exactly the same, but most the same players. This is going to be easy for him to just come in and turn our fortunes around. But, that wasn't the case. There were a lot more problems than he probably thought himself. Anyway, I'll quickly run through Shazbat Designs because I've spoken to Sharon today. And I'm going to give her a quick shout out because she is one of our sponsors and we absolutely love her to pieces. She is also a Blade. She's a big supporter of the Sheff United way. And if you're looking for a Mother's Day gift, Shazbat creates beautiful handmade pyrography. That's custom wood burn art, made to order and completely unique, whether it's a personal message, a favourite photo, or even some Sheffield United inspired decor. There's still time to get your orders in. So make sure you go to shazbatdesigns.co.uk and mention Sheff United Way and you will get a discount. She's brilliant. Like I said, she is a Blade herself and she's a big supporter of the Sheff United Way. She even used to help us when me and Ollie used to do the predictions. So we absolutely love Shazbat. And if you want to go over there and buy anything from her, she will be your best mate and give you a lovely little discount too. So QPR, I'm going to run through the QPR sort of team news because my worry with this, Sam, is because it is the last time I did a preview and I did all the research for the opposition team. I came out of it thinking we're going to win this game of football. They've been rubbish. They've got loads of players injured, and this is exactly how this feels right now. And do you know who that team was that I came out of that saying that they were rubbish? Wrexham. And they went and beat us 5-3. We probably could and should have won that game if we'd have been better. But look at what's happened since. So I don't want to go too big like, oh, we're going to win this game of football. But we've got a good chance because they've got a lot of players injured, a lot of exciting players injured as well. And the manager's under a little bit of heat right now. So I'll quickly run through what all the research that I did earlier on. So the QPR head coach, Julian Stefan, who replaced Marty Cifuentes early on this season, has faced a full-blown availability crisis. So Ilias Chair, long-term hamstring injury. However, it did say on Flash Score that he was questionable. So he might be on the bench, who knows? But it's certainly it has been a long-term issue for him. Kwame Poku and also Karamoko Dembele, both two players that we've been sort of interested in the past or rumored to be interested in, both out injured. So that's three attacking players, wingers, whatever you want to call them, all injured, all shouldn't be playing in this game. Fresh blows, Nicholas Madsen, arguably their most consistent performer this season. He was forced off in the last game against Southampton, where they got absolutely hung out to dry. They're now doing what we did, and they're questioning their personnel, they're questioning their training facilities, they're questioning, the physios and all the people that are doing the fitness. So it's funny how I'm reading this, and this is exactly what we've been saying over the last few years. But they've been really, really leaky defensively, despite having Jimmy Dunn, who we all know and expected to be a Blades player not too long ago. Steve Cook, who's played a lot of Premier League football, in his lifetime. They've looked really, really fragile, and in their last 5 games, they've shipped 10 goals. And the only team that's worse than is Sheffield Wednesday, or better than is Sheffield Wednesday. So you know what, they're not looking good right now. However, like I said earlier on, that I did do all that research, and Wrexham were just as bad as that before we played them, and then we made them loads better apparently. So going into this game, Sam, does that excite you? Does that make you more nervous?
Learning that Chair's out, I always worry about him when we play QPR. He's always just a player that sticks in my memory as, he plays quite well. Even if he doesn't score anything, I think he's got a big part to play in QPR's midfield. He's a midfielder.
Attacking midfielder, sort of number 10/winger.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I was looking at their stats and their stuff and their recent performances. They are not on good form. They did beat QPR. They did beat Coventry at the end of January, 2-1, which was a good result. And they've also just beaten Hull in one of their last games. Another good result, but then they've also lost 5-0 to Southampton. So it's the Championship. I think QPR are such a Championship team. This might sound disrespectful. Hope it doesn't. I think they're a Championship team where you can't really predict them game by game. They're going to hit patches of good form, hit patches of bad form, which is what we've had this season. And it's such an unpredictable league sometimes, and I think they kind of embody that a lot of the time. Good news in terms of injuries for us. I hope they're all speedy recovery and everything. Poku, what's his name?
Kwame Poku.
I'm sad to hear that he's injured, but also at the same time, I'm glad because I really liked him. I actually was quite happy to see that we might have gotten him, and then we didn't. I was excited about him. So they've also got the midfielder Madsen, and obviously we know Jimmy Dunn, but Madsen's been having a really great season, lots of assists and goals, and I think he kind of operates their midfield really well. But generally, you look at it in a very one-dimensional way, and it's like, well, they're not on good form. We've also lost 2 of our last 3 games, but we're not on great form at the same time. But can you weigh that up to 2 of those games were league leaders? You know what I mean? Like,
I think you've got to. You can't look at that and think, they've lost to the top 2
but
teams.
They beat one of those league leaders.
Yeah. And actually, the other team that they've beaten recently is Hull. And I don't know if Hull's been on a bit of a dicey run recently, because I've seen a few results where you expect him to win and they've not. But you know what? They've only won QPR. They've only won 2 in their last 2, 4, 6, 8 games. And that's not very good. 3 defeats, 2 wins, and 3 draws. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this QPR side. I really don't, because, like you said, they've beaten Hull in the playoffs, and they've beaten Coventry as well. So maybe they're just beating the good teams, because
exactly.
I was watching that Southampton game, and to be perfectly honest, I was obviously hoping that Southampton didn't win because Southampton seemed to be the informed team, and this was before we lost to Coventry. And I was just like, QPR are rubbish, really bad defensively. And, that leaky defense, hopefully it carries on into this game because, we need a bit of a pick me up. Even if we're not getting into the playoffs or we've kind of written it off for now, we need a bit of a pick me up after that game because I feel like we've not played badly for a while. And like you say, we've lost 2 games out of the last 3. But you know what? We'll move on into score predictions now,
I
mate.
was just
And
going to say the other thing to
go on.
point out is that their regular left back is Reece Norrington Davies on loan from us. So
Who
I don't
can't
know.
play?
Does it mean he can't play? So
Oh
that
wait, yeah, he is on loan from us. Yeah, I was wondering whether we'd let him go, but I'm pretty sure it is.
he's on
I
loan.
think he's into
So
into his yeah
fairly certain he starts fairly regularly. So that's got
yeah.
to throw some spanner in the works as well. If he's not able to play against us, then that's got to be an issue, surely. Then that's another bit of a knock in their squad, I suppose. Something else to
Yeah,
consider.
that's a great shot. I literally saw him earlier on. I'm like, I'm going to put him in the thumbnail, and then I thought, oh, he won't be playing in this game because he's on loan from us.
True.
So I just want to make sure he has been playing because he's definitely
He
not
has.
picked up a knock.
He's played 28 matches. He's played all of their most recent games.
It's so funny though, isn't it? It's so funny how many times he gets injured, time and time again. I think not funny that he gets injured, but it's funny how he's never present for them,
Yeah,
and we couldn't get him on the pitch. But
football,
I'm
man.
fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with letting him go because I think that we've got 2 of the better left backs in the division. Before this season started, I thought that we got the best left back in the division, and then he went on a bit of a blip, and then. Fair enough, Sam McCallum stepped up. However, I just want to give Burrows a shout out because I
Yeah,
think in the last 2 games, especially in the last game, and I know you quite often give man of the match to the player that scores, and I hate that because it really annoys me. But since that goal against Wednesday, he's been bombing forward. He's been playing quick 1-2s. He's just been getting forward, and that's what he was doing really, really well last season. He was getting into good positions to get crosses in, to get shots in, and he's had a few really, really good shots, despite not including the goals that he scored. So it's good to see him getting into positions. I know he only uses his right foot or his right leg to stand on. However, I'm so glad he swung it at that
yeah.
against Coventry because it can go anywhere, and it clearly did. And you know what? I'm really happy to see Burrows playing well again. I feel sorry for Sam McCallum. He's probably sitting there thinking, all the headway that I made in this season, and then when I come back, Burrows is going to be number 1 again. It must be
Football is
gutting
a
for him.
cruel game. Football's very cruel, but he's
I know.
definitely revived himself in the past few games, and he's had some decent performances here and there. But I think the last 3 games, really, even against Portsmouth, I realised I was saying we've lost 2 of our last 3. I forgot about the Portsmouth game.
Of course,
But
yeah. I was thinking when we said that because I said the same thing. The Portsmouth game just completely left my brain because it was
I have to say, completely forgot about it.
It was a very forgettable game. It was, other than the last kind of couple of minutes where we scored. But yeah,
I wasn't watching it. I was busy. I'm afraid I wasn't able to. So
fair enough. But yeah, I think those 3. I was thinking 3 games at home in a row. That can't be right. There must be something that we're forgetting.
Yeah.
What I will say is let's not move on into score predictions just yet. So Freddie, hold your 1-1 just for now. I want to talk through the expected starting lineup. Does Wilder change it up a little bit? Because we have played a lot of games recently. I know we've had we've not really had more than a few days to get ready for this one because we've gone Sunday to Wednesday, then Wednesday to Saturday. That's not a lot of recovery time. And I think somebody mentioned in the comments after the kind of Coventry game that you could see Coventry's had a little bit more time to prepare for this game. And it isn't fair, really, because we've gone, a lot of teams might have played on Saturday and then they're having to play on Tuesday or Wednesday. I know that's just how it works. But then we're going from Wednesday to Saturday. It would have been handy if we could have had an extra day off, but it's one of them things. Just saying that, that's kind of made me change my thinking in regards to this starting 11. But goalkeeper, it's got to be Cooper, hasn't it? Even though he has been a little bit poor in the last couple.
Definitely.
Yeah,
No,
it is. No, I think there might be a switch at right back. I do. I think we might see whoever come in and play instead of Sariki. Not that I want to see that, but I do think that Wilder took Sariki off in the last game. He might want to give whoever a bit of a go. Chong came on in the last game as well. Who knows? He might want to play those two together and see what we can get out of them, because Chong is one of our players. I know Keanu's not, but we might look at signing him if Sariki is probably one of the best players this season for me. And I think, knowing that we're not going to have parachute payments next season, we will probably be looking to move a few players on. Sariki could be top of that list because he's been so good this season. I hope that's not the case, but that's what I'm saying about whoever might be brought in to we need to give him some game time, because if we've got him on loan, we might as well use him, especially if we're not going to be primed for getting into the playoffs. So what do you think about
that? I love Sariki. I think he's been one of my favourites this season. Probably one of our best players as well. But I think Hoover's had some good runs in the past few games. He's come on. I thought he looked lively. He's not much of a defensive option, and Sariki's not that defensive, but I think he's improved that side of his game. I think that's why we bring Hoover on a lot. Towards the end of the game, he's got energy and he'll help us push up. I thought, he looked like he could have helped gotten us a goal in the last few games. I like him. I wouldn't mind seeing him again after the season, but I also feel like I haven't seen enough of him, just because of his record at Stoke in the Championship. He seemed like he'd be a great player to have around, but we've not really seen enough to say that yet. But starting him, maybe. I mean, I would probably just say Sariki, but you make a very good point. I also think I saw Sariki limping around at one point in the past few games. I can't remember what game it was. Might have been Coventry, might have been Wednesday, but no, I think it would be Sariki, but Hoover's not the worst shout in the world, to be honest.
No, he's not. I think he will. It's not just whoever that I think will come in. I think we will change this around a little bit. I think we'll probably go two up top. I think we'll probably play Cannon maybe alongside Bamford, or even Campbell. Might give Bamford a little bit of a rest, because Bamford's played a lot of football as well. There's a lot of players that have played a lot of football recently. I think Gyro will come back in with Peck, because we need that stability in the midfield. Obviously, we'll go same back to central defenders again. I think Burrows is flying at the moment, so you don't really want to bring in somebody else when Burrows is playing so well. But we do have Hjelde at left back to come in. I think he'll be I think we might try and sign him as well, if I'm being completely honest. He's offers centre back cover as well, and it obviously depends how Sam McCallum comes back.
Yeah, might not be the same player when he comes back, but more good options to just have to fill the squad. Definitely right back, I suppose, if I think about it, for Hoover, just because we do need more depth there, because it is just Sariki. Hjelde, I think he can also play a bit of right back. I'm not certain, but he can play a bit along that back line, and it's always good to have that sort of filling in. We might not keep Binden. So then
no, I think he'll go back
again. So it's one of those things.
Yeah, so I'm just throwing things out there right now. There's no point in doing a predicted 11, because I don't think he will be going, the same team as he has done the last two games. I know there was one change in there. I think it was Sumari came in for Phillips, obviously, but Phillips is not available for this game. Neither is Rothwell's. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's still got one more left. But you know what? He'll probably play Chong instead of Brooks, because Wilder will probably throw some curveball out there. I really don't know. What do you think to the rest of the team?
I think you're right about Riedewald should start. He had a decent 15 minutes, I think it was, against Coventry. And we know what that midfield pairing can be. Blaster's obviously not been hitting that level. I thought Samare was good. He was a mix. I think that's always the thing with Samare. He's had 1 or 2 games where he's been brilliant, but he's always going to be still very raw and not quite there. So he plays well, he gets there, he gets involved all the time, but then he might give away the ball, or he might nearly break a man's leg and get sent off. So, I think it's always a 50-50 with Samari, but we know what Riedewald can do. I remember, a couple months ago, was it that long ago now? A couple months ago, we were singing about how amazing he was. Like, Riedewald gets into pretty much any championship team. We have to have that too in the middle. So if he's back fit, he looked decent. So I would definitely say play him again.
I don't think it even relies on his fitness, to be perfectly honest, because when he came into to our team, he wasn't fit. He wasn't match fit, and he kept coming off. But we were getting a really good 60 minutes out of him. I think the thing is with Riedewald, he's positionally he's very good. His brain works quicker than anybody else's, and he covers ground well enough for someone that's not got that too much pace and that much fitness. So I don't think he needs to be fully match fit to be one of our better midfielders. I think him and Peck together need to play the rest of the season together, and we need to try and tie him down to a longer contract. Riedewald, obviously, Peck as well, but Riedewald, yeah, all of them, yeah, exactly. I'm not, yeah. I think it'll be Cannon and Campbell, if I'm being honest, up front together. I think he'll give Bamford a bit of a rest. I think he will have him on the bench, obviously, to bring on and try and change the game. I think Bamford's maybe been slightly less effective, especially in the Cov game. I think he worked a really good chance for himself, couldn't put it away. But other than that, I think it was one of his slightly weaker games. But I think maybe that's just the fact that he's had to play so much football recently. I think, especially towards the end of the Cov game, I think he kind of wilted a little bit, and Campbell was involved in a lot. So yeah, I think Campbell and Cannon will start up front together, and I think we'll go for a sort of 4-4-2.
I'm not against that. I've noticed we haven't seen Cannon much recently. We've had a lot of Campbell coming in, but I don't think it's anything to do with fitness. I think it's just because sometimes we bring on Campbell because he has that energy. I thought he'd been better in recent games, and I thought against Wednesday was one of his better performances, despite what some people said. So yeah, no, I that's not a bad shout. I think that's one of those games where Wilder would just change something.
Yeah, honestly, I'd rather see every day of the week. I'd rather see the same team that played against Cov on Wednesday with either Phillips or Riedewald in there. Riedewald mostly, but it'll be nice when Rothwell's back and Phillips are back, and we're up to full speed and we can bring these players off the bench, because I think Phillips has lost his place now. I think he doesn't deserve it back until he works his socks off to get it back. But I can't see him breaking into Peck and Riedewald now. As long as Riedewald can stay fit and Peck can stay fit, I think Phillips will be on the bench for a while. I think he'll know that he'll let Wilder down and his players down, and obviously the fans as well. And I think Wilder will be like, you don't deserve to play over Riedewald, who's been so good this season. Yeah. Anyway, let's jump into the score predictions. Maury's gone for a 2-2. Kieran's gone for a 3-0 away win. I like the sound of that. Ben's gone for a 2-1 away win to the Blades. Brad's gone for a 2-1 Blades win. Despite the defeats recently, people still seem to be quite confident. Paul's gone for a 2-0 Blades win. Paul's actually said, lose this and the playoffs are gone. I think we've already kind of written off the playoffs at this point. But I'm glad that Paul still thinks that there's a chance.
I appreciate
Mark's
it.
gone for Mark's gone for a 2-0 Blades win. Ian's also gone for a 2-0 Blades win. Greg's gone for 1-1. Raggy's gone for 3-0 Blades. And that's all she wrote. And I want to pop in on Freddie's 1-1 as well. What about you, mate? I'll give you mine after you give me yours.
Well, you know what? Michael says here, on paper, it's got a draw written all over it, but I'm going with a score of 2-3. And you know what? That's not a bad shout. I think something like that.
No.
I always feel like, I don't know, QPR seems such a strange team to me to try and predict. We've had great results against them, and we've had really average, lots of draws against them. So, and we've also lost, obviously. I don't know.
wait,
Yeah.
we've won, lost, and drawn. You're joking?
Never. No, I think I still think that we're a very competitive team, even when we don't fully perform. I think we're going to start Redevolt. I think it's going to really help us a lot. We will have Rothwell on the bench. I've checked his suspension ends.
Was that the 3?
Last match, so he will be on the bench.
Oh, the Portsmouth game again. It's the Portsmouth game.
Exactly. Forgotten them all. I think there's gonna be like 1 goal in it. So that 3-2 is not a bad idea, but I'm going to say 2-1. We only had 2-1s this whole season. We've only had 2-1s this whole season, and we're going to have a third this season. With
nice. That is the usual score that people go for, 2-1, though, isn't it? Because it's like you're covering all bases. If you concede, there's still a chance. If you score, there's still a chance. I think that we've got more than enough to win this game. I also think that we've got more than enough errors in the squad to lose this game. But I'm going to go for a 3-1 Blades win. I think we are going to turn up. I think we're going to be a bit hurt from the last couple of home defeats that we've had against top 2, and especially that rubbish Wednesday second half. I think we're going to come out all guns blazing. I hope Wilder doesn't change it too much, because if he does change it too much, it might seem quite disjointed, and we might not get those creative lanes laning. So hopefully, we get back to winning ways in this game. We won his last away game. Let's go there and win another one. And I want to still have a little bit of hope. I don't want it to all go. So if we can win this game, there's still a slight little bit of hope there. But I've kind of written it off in my brain, and I'm going to try and enjoy the rest of the championship sort of results and watching championship games, because I don't enjoy watching the championship when the team that's above us are winning games of football. So we're trying to enjoy it a little bit more, not think about the other teams and how they're doing, and hopefully the Blades just finish as high as we possibly can.
I mean, until it's mathematically determined that we can't do it, there's always still that slight glimmer of hope. I remember I was watching it came up on my feed of the videos of you talking about our Premier League season, where you were saying, "Oh, it's I think it's over," but usually, even if until it's mathematically, I'm still holding about a bit of hope. But I think it's the same thing. Hold that bit of hope. But I'm still decently pleased with this season, all things considered, under the circumstances. So I will take our season as it is and stay smiling about it.
Yeah, let's enjoy it, because 5-6 games into the season, it couldn't have got much worse. And now we've been dreaming of playoffs. Like, who'd have thought that? Like, we just wanted to stay up at one point. Norwich are the same. Norwich had that same worry, and then they've flown at the division. They've obviously had a couple of slightly under par performances recently, but they've been fantastic, as have we in a lot of games this season. Every game we seem to be scoring 3 goals, or we were at one point. And last season, I don't know how many goals we scored last season. I'll probably have a little look after this, but I reckon we'll probably finish on more goals scored. Definitely not conceded. Definitely more goals conceded. But I think we'll probably by the end of the season have scored more goals than last season, which is nice, because I think for large parts of last season, we were saying, "Oh, this is boring. This is dull. We're not scoring enough goals." And this season, we're certainly scoring more goals, and it's certainly not dull.
Last season, we scored 63 and conceded 36. This season, we have scored 48 and conceded 48.
Wow. I know we've still got a long way to go. We've still got 12 games to go. And, I still think we'll probably score more than we scored last season. I'll have to do the maths just to make sure that's not like 5 goals a game or something like that, and I look stupid. No, I think last season, I think we only scored 3 once, and we didn't score 4 at all. It was, I believe it. No, sorry, we did. We scored 3 against Cov. I think we scored 3 against Borough and we scored 3 against Oxford, but we didn't score 4 once. That's what it was. We didn't score 4 at all. Whereas this season, we've scored lots of 3s. I'm sure we must have got a 4 in there at some point as well. But yeah, he's certainly been more exciting. That's the takeaway.
You know what? I'm going to change my prediction slightly. I'm going to say, obviously, we've got 48 goals scored. We've got 48 goals conceded. Wednesday have a goal difference of minus 48. And all that putting together, Joe Rothwell in the number 48 shirt is going to score and he's going to make it 3-1 on the night against QPR.
Nice. I love that. Let's go together and have a 3-1 dual prediction, shall we? Love that.
Brilliant.
Love that. Anyway, Sam, I've kept you for so long. Thank you very much for joining me today. We've waffled a lot of nonsense, but hopefully there's also been some little nuggets of I don't know, good predictions or
Andrew and Dylan to make work with.
Lovely. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you for joining me, Sam, and we'll catch up with you again very, very soon. That'll be my match prediction tomorrow. Let's hope I'm talking about a good one. Thanks for watching, ladies and gents. See you next time.
Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole.